My name is Josh Miller. I own Riverstone Kennels, and I've been training gun dogs for more than 16 years. I have field trialed, I've hunt tested, but at the end of the day, I'm a duck hunter. You might find that the duck in our Duck Dogs podcast is spelled uniquely. The UK stands for my British Labs. I love my British Labs. I love what they offer me, both as a part of my family and the high motor in the field. As you're going to find, I have some pretty special dogs. Follow along in our podcast series here as we talk about both in the field hunting and in the field training situations that will hopefully help you progress with your dog at home.
I don't know. There's always like this awkwardness of like before we actually start, like we don't have like a cool theme song.
What do you want your theme song to be?
I don't know. Like, We Will Rock You. I did press record, by the way, so we're recording. Oh, you did know that?
Well, I was looking and then I saw the red beam.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Duck Dogs, everybody. Since we don't have sponsors anymore, there's your awkward intro. So we're back. I want to say episode 2, even though I know it's not episode 2, but it's episode 2 since being back. And we want to make sure that we get, so actually the one that you're hearing right now was actually recorded last week. But the reason that it was recorded last week is because we are currently down at the Pheasant Ranch when this comes out, assuming that you're listening to it the day that it drops. Don't give me like a weird look of like. I
see what you're doing.
But we have 13 days back to back 13 times of guiding down at the Pheasant Ranch, and we do want to go over some of that stuff mainly because of I think it's interesting how I choose to use the dogs, what dogs I choose to bring, what dogs I choose to put in what situation, why I don't put certain dogs in certain situations. So we're going to talk over that. We're going to talk over Texas. We have an announcement. Not Texas, a different announcement that we're going to make. And
I have one topic I want to talk about.
And Whitney has one topic she wants to talk about. Puppies, I assume?
No.
No?
Actually, it's not.
All right, well, why don't we kick it off with Whitney's topic?
Okay, Whitney's topic today. This is actually something that I think is so cool that you do. You lead a book club once a year. And the first year you did it, I did not participate. The second year you did it, last year, I participated and actually loved it so much and found so much value in life from it and through dogs and just hearing other people's takes on the book, Extreme Ownership. Mm-hmm. And if you know me, I hate reading so much. I just get so tired. But I decided to
just get so tired.
I read it and then sorry, Josh is telling me to move my microphone.
I feel like it's bouncing.
Okay, anyways, but I did the audio version. But what is so cool is that you do this through Retriever Roadmap for our Retriever Roadmap members, and there's just so much value and. You totally screwed me up on
I'm
this
watching your microphone like bounce back
Anyways,
and forth.
I just want you to talk about it.
Okay.
I just want you to talk about it because from someone who does not read, would never, ever, ever do that. I found so much value in it. Mm-hmm. And it's just, listening this year to each week when everyone came on, it was different this year for me because so many people participated and had different outlooks on it than others, and it was really cool to get so many different takes on the same exact book that you all read.
Okay, so thank you for that. You can tighten that up down below there because it's going to drive me insane.
Done.
Okay, so the thing that I love so much about the Extreme Ownership book is one, taking ownership and just the reality that comes with that, not only from a dog perspective. I think there's so much to relate with that because, anytime that somebody, calls or wants advice or quite frankly brings a dog in for training, it's always the dog's fault, right? The dog isn't doing something. The dog is doing this and should be doing that. But so often for us, we as people aren't equipped as leaders that we need to be from a knowledge standpoint. We're not consistent enough with our training and giving our dog a clear understanding of what it is we're asking them to do, putting in the time, right? And all of that is not the dog's fault. All of that is our fault. And I think for those of us that own that, we have a better relationship with our dog, understanding that this isn't all on the dog. This is so much on us. Oftentimes somebody will send me a video of like, well, my dog's doing this. Well, I'd like to see you working your dog when the dog's doing that, because there's a lot that I can tell from you and what you're doing and the things that you could be doing differently to help the dog. It's not, you're not sending me the picture of an engine and I'm like, oh yeah, that looks off, fix this. And so ownership is so important when it comes to relationships with our dogs. I also believe it is a huge deal when it comes to our personal life, whether that's relationships, whether that's professionally. There's so much to be said about that book. And that book, I believe, changed my life in a lot of ways as it comes to specifically my mindset and my approach on things. And so I start off every single year reading that book. And through Retriever Roadmap, I had some people, I've talked about that on this show, and I've had numerous people reach out and say, hey, tell me about this book or talk about this book. And so a few years ago, it just turned into a little book club for us. And I can honestly tell you, I never thought that I would ever be a part of a book club, let alone leading one. Yeah, let alone leading one. But I really enjoy it, and mainly because of what Whitney had said, So as you can probably imagine, I think this is has to be year 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there, of me reading and rereading this book every year. And as you can imagine, when you do things that repetitively, especially from a reading standpoint, it is hard to absorb the same way that you did, the first or second time reading it. And so what I get so much value out of is what we had mentioned, different perspectives, different viewpoints, different ideas, different ways that somebody took something. And I love that. And we've had such great conversation. I mean, what we do is, so there's 3 parts, to this book, and each part is 4 chapters. And we would come together every week. So we'd give each other a week to complete the 4 chapters. And then after that week, we'd come together and talk about it. And, I was so proud of the group that we had this year. I mean, so much engagement, so much conversation, so many times did somebody shared something and somebody came in like, gosh, like I did not think of it that way, but that's so valuable to me. And there's just so much there. And so I really do appreciate and enjoy that type of camaraderie, and especially when we're all there for a greater purpose. Like we are all there in that to become better people, better dog handlers, better trainers, better employers, employees, husbands, fathers, dads, moms. Like all of us were there for the betterment of ourselves. And I truly believe that as a person, you are either progressing or regressing. You are not sitting there staying the same. And one of the things I'm very proud of Whitney is, well, you may or may not like what I'm going to say. So, when Whitney didn't participate the first year, one of the things that she said a lot of is like, I hate reading. I hate reading, right? And you stepped out of your comfort zone and pushed yourself to do it and enjoyed it a lot. And to me, when I've had people that have wanted to do or wanted to really encourage them to be a part of that book club, or read, and I would do almost like a one-on-one with them. And there are just certain people out there that are always going to look for a reason to be negative, right? So like there are people that have been like, man, like read this book, I think it'll be really impactful for you. Well, I don't like reading. Okay, well, it has an audiobook. You can listen to it on your way to and from work. Well, work's not that long of a drive, so and I don't want to break it up into parts. It's like you could find a reason for anything to be negative. I believe it's a personal skill set to do the opposite, to look at things and find positivity in it. And one of the things that I can't remember if I talked about this the other day or not. I think I talked about it maybe actually on our Retriever Roadmap live. But one thing that I've been challenging myself with is always assuming positive intent or good intent. And what I mean by that is like, somebody cuts you off at, in traffic, instead of just getting upset and be like, you MFer and, mad, like maybe that person's rushing to the hospital for a reason, right? Or, I've had a couple people that would send me emails, and on first take, like you'd be like, gosh, like that's a very rude and mean email, and then you start having a conversation with them, and maybe it wasn't intentionally worded that way, or I shouldn't have taken it that way, right? And but it's because I assumed good intent that you even went down and had the conversation, and were able to kind of break through that layer. And so I think that's one thing that I've really strived to go do, as far as stepping out of my own comfort zone. But it's easy to sit there and just think everything is negative, but to actually go and say, hey, let's find a reason to do this, right? Like I can tell you and this month has just kind of been crazy with uncertainty, specifically with weather down south. Like I felt like I didn't know day to day, like, am I leaving? Am I staying? Where are we going? And then I have, I'm coming up to the pheasant ranch, and then we're going to Texas, and then all the stuff going on. It was difficult for me to complete these chapters this year. From a time side of like, I have to have this done by Thursday. We do these on Thursday nights. But you find a way to do it.
For sure.
And I just think that, that everything in that book that we talked about last night, when we kind of got through, that third part and talked about like the overarching messages that hung with us, discipline was such a big part of it. And we always tie everything back in that group to dogs, but also from a personal standpoint, from a professional standpoint, discipline was everything. Like there was someone in there that was like, I really want to be working out, and I sometimes it's just difficult to find the time. I can always find a reason why not to go. But being disciplined is going to get me there. Same thing with our dogs, right? Like how many times do those of us that have goals and things that we want to achieve, all of a sudden we blink and it's like, gosh, it's August, and it's just a discipline side, and it is so easy to say I don't have the time, but you do have the time. It's just you prioritize the things that are important to you, or you find important, right?
I also think it's easy when you don't see instant gratification of what you're doing. Like, for instance, I told you this the other day, but I'm trying really hard to just, like, have a 1 hour for me, and it's really hard to do that, but specifically working out, and every day I don't want to do it, like the days I don't want to do it, I should say, I will say myself in June will thank me for doing this today. And so, like, I instead of looking at today, I'm like, look at, if I keep on this regimen back in June, I will thank myself for doing this today.
Yeah, and I think working out and dog training is so similar in that way.
I know.
And I've always looked at the two as so synergistic in so many ways. But for me, the reason that we made Retriever Roadmap a $29 a month fee versus hey, pay $2,000 or $3,000 or whatever it is, the reason we did that is because I wanted it to feel like a gym. I wanted it to feel like, look, this is, the cost isn't holding me back, right? But I have to go do the work, because that's the reality of doing a program like that. You have to go do the work. You can send the dog in, to us to train it. It's going to be way more money, but you don't have to go and be there and do it. If you want to do it, you have to put in the work, just like the gym. And, for the gym, right? Like when you go to the gym and you want to lose weight, build muscle, create tone, whatever it is that your goal is, if you go one day and you look in the mirror, you won't see a result. I can almost guarantee you will not see a result, right? Go day 2, you won't see a result. Day 3, you won't see a result. But if you stay disciplined, there will be a point that you look in that mirror and you go, whoa, right? But unless you stay disciplined and you're consistent in that, you're never going to achieve what you set out to go do. And that's why you're right, that's why so many people fail, is delayed gratification is something that is very, very difficult for so many of us to grasp, specifically today, because we can have almost anything we want, with a click and 2-day shipping, right? And not for us because where we live, but it seems like a lot of this time now is 1-day shipping, right? So like you can get anything you want so fast.
Yeah.
But there are certain things, and dogs are a big one of those. Like, you cannot rush this. This is not going to be, a click and here it is at your doorstep. So it is a very difficult, thing. But if you can wrap your mind around it, and I really do believe if you're struggling with this kind of issue of wanting things to go faster, or wanting things to be better, or wanting things, and you're like, listen to this and go, gosh, like some of that does fit me. I'm telling you, read Extreme Ownership. Extreme Ownership is a book that I think it will open your eyes to so many things, and it will make you a better person. I can't guarantee anything, right? But like I promise you that it will force you to think about that stuff.
It is so good.
Mm-hmm. It is. Okay, so thank you for that. That was a nice little way to kick this off. Okay, so we have an announcement. Have we announced this?
Not like officially.
I don't think so either. So we're going to announce it here.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we have a client of ours who has become a very good friend of ours that has a very awesome business, which is Mr. Ben Commodore of Cloud9 Outfitters up in Alberta. Ben has built a really cool business, and it's all waterfowl hunting. It's ducks, it's geese, and it is epic. And this is coming from someone that I usually this year I'm not going to hit this. Actually, not even close because of how poor the season was. But generally speaking, I'm about 90 days a year, right? So like start up in Canada, North Dakota, Montana, Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas. I hunt a lot of different places. What Ben has up in Alberta, it is incredibly special. Incredibly special from opportunity, from where you are, from the bird volume it's insane. It is insane. I mean, especially if you love dry field hunting, it would be hard to beat what Ben has up there. Like it is very special. Ben for a number of years has joked. I took it as joking, but joked about what's it going to take to get me to go up there and guide. It wasn't until this year that I laughed when he said it this year, and he looked at me and goes, "You know that I'm not kidding when I say that." And I was like, well, maybe let's talk about what that looks like. And so we did. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go up and work with Ben and basically run his guide team, if you will. So I'll take kind of the head guide position up there. So I'll be overseeing the guides, the scouts, making sure that our hunts are going as they should be going. And I'm really excited about it. I think our dogs are finally going to get the volume of work that we so desperately want them to get. I'm looking at a photo of Easton on my desk right now. And Easton was, if you follow the show for any amount of time, you already know this, but Easton was the dog that if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. But although I had him at the right time in my life because he gave me the encouragement to do this, he made me successful. Because of that success, I got with the right people and blah, 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 and here I am talking to you today. He had me at the wrong time in my life. What I mean by that is like I couldn't afford anything. I couldn't hardly afford gas to and an entry fee for that matter to go to a hunt test, let alone go take a trip somewhere and go get him on some of these hunts that he really did deserve to go on. And so now I'm really happy that we'll be able to provide that to our dogs, but then also be able to connect with clients. So like if this is something that you're interested in, please reach out to me, reach out to Ben at Cloud9. And I'm just excited to be able to spend time in the field with people because this is truly something special. And so to be able to experience that with people, like-minded people like you all are, I think is a really cool thing. And then from a dog work side, it's just going to be awesome.
It would be so fun for people to go hunt with you and our dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get up there and go and do that.
Yeah, and we have a great team going up too.
Oh my gosh.
So we have Chef Nate, who he has been the chef for the Minnesota Vikings. And somehow I conned him up into to going up there with us and being part of that team. So like you just take like Nate already had, or I'm sorry, Ben already had something so special, and now we're going to up the team as far as the guides, and the guide team I think is going to take this to another level. Then you take Nate, who as far as I'm concerned is like world class as far as food goes. It is going to be an experience, for people to have. And so I'm super excited. We're going to be up there from middle of September through the end of October. And so it is going to cut into a little bit like our pre-hunt training, if you will. Like if you have sent dogs in for tune-up training, for us in September, we're getting ready for October hunts. We're just going to kind of push that up into early September or late October. And we'll still get done what we need to get done, but from a kennel standpoint, that's the only thing that's going to change a little bit.
Yeah, that's going to change, but, like, this is such a huge opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's, like, I don't know, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's just a huge opportunity that you can't pass down for yourself, for especially our dogs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different opportunity.
Well, and selfishly, you kind of look at me, so it's been very cold, here in Wisconsin. And we went by a little trout farm the other day, and it was open water because, running water, and the mallards in there were just, it was like they were walking at each other. Like they were just, it was unbelievable. And it kind of brought me back. So how my dad was not really a duck hunter. He certainly wasn't a dog guy. Neither was, my uncle or my grandpa. Why I got so into duck hunting, I don't know. But that's how I learned. Is we had a little trout farm in between my home that I grew up in high school and school. And I would pull my truck over, and Easton and I, that's how I taught Easton to be steady. That's also how I learned to blow a duck call, is I would literally sit in the woods where I could see that trout pond, and I'd listen to ducks, and I'd watch ducks, and I'd watch how they interact, and watch what they would do. And Easton would be there on his toenails the whole time because he was just jacked up and wanting to go. And it was just, kind of brought me back. But the reason I bring that up is because I never would have thought that, this high school kid from western Wisconsin sitting here at this trout pond trying to learn how to blow a duck call would now be having camp in Arkansas, and now guiding up in Alberta, and it's like the epitomes, right?
Yeah.
The epitomes of it. So I'm really excited about it. I think I'm really excited about the team. Going back to kind of the extreme ownership side of things, surrounding yourself with the right people is a huge part of that. And Ben has been so great about this because I can probably be a little demanding, is that the right word?
I'm not really sure what you're
a
looking
little
for.
Forceful. Like, you probably agree with all the above. Living with me. Here's why I say it is that basically I went to Ben. I was like, look, I'll do this, but like we're tearing this whole team down and starting from scratch, and I'm going to hand select who we're going to. And Ben, he has to be trusting of me, right? Because I'm literally asking to rebuild a major part of his business. But I'm such a believer in the people. I'm such a believer in you are who you surround yourself with. So I want to surround ourselves up there with fantastic people. And I'm really excited about the team. I won't dig into all the people that are going up there quite yet. But we have a pretty spectacular team. We're still looking for one or two more of those right people to kind of plug into two different pieces that I'm looking for up there. But it's a special deal. So I'm really excited about it.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for you.
Yeah, I think it'll be really, it'll be great. I really think so. So, okay, so let's move on to Pheasant Ranch. For those of you that don't know, we just talked about waterfowl hen all over the place. We have our Pheasant Ranch, excuse me, I had a tickle in my throat. We have our Pheasant Ranch that is in Missouri, and we run pheasant hunts out of it. And basically, you try to do, it's all pen-raised birds. We try to make it as wild as we can with doing a pre-release system. We'll release birds early on and try to make them as wild feeling as possible. It's a fun thing. We really enjoy it. but we have kind of a mixture of, there's that option. People can go on what you'd consider traditional walking hunts, from here in the States. Or we have what we call our hill hunt, which is more of a traditional hill style shoot from overseas that I've participated in over there. And it's really interesting sometimes when we talk about the dogs that we're going to bring and why, right? And so I want to kind of break that down a little bit, because there are a couple dogs in particular that I will not let work in front of me from a quartering, track trail flush, type of a scenario. And the dogs that come to mind right now, two of them are not our personal dogs. One of them being Pip is one of them. Like, I'm not gonna let Pip go out in front of us. And then I guess he is our personal dog. Goose is not gonna go up and work in front of us. And so those two for sure will not go. Pip is a very good friend and client of ours dog. She is in our breeding program. She's one of our mamas. She's a really, really nice dog. But we just don't have all of her handling work done yet. And I do not want her going and quartering and tracking and trailing and flushing in front of me until I have that totally down, which she will have down. This summer, I feel really good about that. But she's had heat cycles, and she's had puppies, and she's had things that have just interfered with getting that that last bit of stage, if you will, of training done, that I want to get done with her before that. Why do I do that? Because I understand a lot of people listening that do waterfowl and upland hunt. They're doing both. Their dogs are up there, quartering and flushing in front of them, probably before they're even being steady running marks, if we're being really honest. And I'm a big believer in that. I want all my work to be done from what I consider a retriever standpoint. Okay, so when I think of a retriever, I think of a dog being steady, marking, taking a line, stopping a whistle, taking a cast, running blind retrieves, those types of things, which I'm not saying that a retriever can't be a flushing dog, but we're not asking them to be a retriever when we're asking them to track trail flush, right? We're asking them to be a flushing dog. Excuse me. So I want to get done with all my retriever work before I put them in that scenario, because there are some bad habits that you have to fight later on. For example, I take a dog that has had his nose down to the ground for a season or 2 seasons, especially if that dog hunts a lot, tracking and trailing and flushing. All of a sudden, I try to take their eyes away from them, start running lines. That dog, especially if they feel uncertain, boom, nose goes right to the ground, and we start trying to fight that and have issues. So I really want to take those potential bad habits off the table. So what is Pip going to do? Pip's going to go, and she's going to sit on the hill hunt. So she's going to sit with me at the bottom of the hill. She's going to mark, and she's going to watch a lot of shooting, a lot of birds, and just you'll be able to have that time of watching and then being sent on her name to go pick up birds here and there. And so I think that's going to be a really positive thing for her. Goose is that same way. I'm a big believer in not letting the dogs go into the field until their training is done, which he still has some things that I'm wanting to clean up, but he's going to sit there and he's going to watch, and he's going to sit and watch on hill hunts. Now, if the situation comes up, I might let him pick up a bird or two, but his main job is going to be sitting and watching. It's a great opportunity to see a lot of birds and a lot of shooting without and in a controlled environment. And so they're going to go do that, but you will not see them out in front, track, trail, flushing.
I love that. It does give them so much opportunity by just sitting there. Plus, there's a whole bunch of other dogs there that they have to sit and honor and learn that as well.
That's right. Yeah, it's about as, like in that situation, if my goal is to go out and sit and watch with the dog, there's no better training scenario that I can think of because of the live birds and the live shooting and the live, like everybody else is on a hunt. We're training in this scenario, but everybody else is on hunt. We're actually doing something really cool with one of our clients that is coming to guide, which is one of his dogs has really struggled with watching marks and then pulling off the marks to run a blind he didn't see. He wants to go pick up those marks when he's sent. And so what we're going to do with him is we are actually going to go and set out a couple blinds and have them be there, and maybe have like 2 or 3 birds at each for us laying at each blind, if you will. We're gonna have him sit, and we're gonna. I'm hesitating using his name because I know he probably wouldn't care, but I always like to ask permission before I use names, so I'm not gonna use his name.
Can you do you want to use the dog's name?
No, not really. I just I just try to be respectful. Sometimes people don't like being talked about. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna sit at the bottom hill. Boom, boom, boom. He's gonna have to watch those marks, right? And he's gonna want to go pick those marks up, and then we're gonna pull him off, and we're gonna go run a blind. And the goal is that even if we have to fight to get him there. What I mean by fighting, I don't mean like put the boxing gloves on and fight. So sometimes you got to clarify. Yeah. What I mean by we're going to make him get to that reward. Okay. So then the goal is he should at least have an idea that there should be a couple other birds there. So now the next time we pull him off, he's going to be more eager and confident. And then too, when he gets back, then we're going to go run him on the mark to let him know, hey, you still do get to go pick that bird up, but we got to get this done first. And so there's not a better training scenario. Like, it's very, very difficult to set something like that up on a live duck hunt. And so this is a great opportunity, for us to be able to work on, with that dog. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So really cool, fun for me to be able to do that.
Can I ask one question about that?
Yeah.
Does that kind of come with doing too many throwing retrieves? Do you know what I mean?
You mean not wanting to pull off on
Yeah.
so you think about from a waterfall side of things, how many times, even when you have a dog that you've been running blinds and pattern blinds, and you feel like cold blinds, you feel like you have a dog that's pretty dialed in, but then you go on a duck hunt, like a true hunt. It's a lot of marks. Especially if you're in water, it's a lot of splash mark, or even if you send him, the dog sees the cripple going, so it's very difficult to be running a lot of true blinds. So what happens is through repetition, the dog sucks back into using their eyes, and so that's what they want to go do, and that they want to go be successful. Mostly a young dog thing, right?
Okay.
But this dog is a young dog, and he is a powerhouse, and so those two things are kind of working against him in the situation, and it's hard. I mean, shoot, I've talked about this with Bud. For whatever reason, Bud's first few hunts that down in Arkansas at the goat farm, the old goat farm. Whitney and I were in a tornado at the goat farm.
Oh my gosh, we were.
Yeah, that was a wild,
it was
wild
insane.
deal. Anyway, with that, for whatever reason, Bud had 3-4 hunts in a row that everything was just splashing the decoys, and so he just, as a first season dog, just got to a point where he's like, everything's got to be in the decoys. So then I had to be intentional about working him through the decoys and making him be successful way out past the decoys, so that he didn't start thinking that I have to suck into the decoys all the time. And so those live hunts, they can certainly add those elements to it, and I think that's probably what's happened here. He's gone on live hunts, has understood to use his eyes, and he can watch something go down and go be successful with it.
Yeah.
And because in a training scenario, this dog will go around blinds all day long.
Yeah.
But you go on a hunt, and it's just different,
Sure.
And so.
I just asked because there might be someone out there. Well, I also didn't know, but there might be someone to be like, my dog has the same problem, and I didn't know. And you don't know what it's created from. Yeah,
no, for sure. Well, and it is I do really believe in situational issues, situational training, and what I mean by that is that you can have a dog that in a training scenario, you're summertime, you got shorts on, you got a bucket, you got the dog knows you're training, versus just the environment change. The dog knows that you're hunting,
For
right?
sure.
And so, okay. Oftentimes people will say oh, the dog knows when I'm putting my orange vest on, right? Yeah, he does know, right? And so that's where the excitement comes from. It's oh my gosh, I know what I'm going to get to go do, right?
Yeah.
If every time I put on my my shin jacket, you were gonna be handed $1 million. If you saw that shin jacket come out, you'd be jumping all over the place, all right, let's go, you excited, right?
For sure.
And so very similar deal. So but hard to manage that, You know,
Very
like
hard.
the best
Yeah.
part about training is that everything we do is set up. Everything we do is controlled. Everything we do is we know where something is or how we're planning on getting them there. We don't have that luxury on a hunt. And then, you know, I'll take it a step further with the guiding. Now you really don't know what it is you're getting into because, you know, like you're there to make the hunt be a fun, successful hunt. And that is, to me, that's a part of what we're doing is like, I can't wait to get the dogs up there, but I also have to know and check my ego for all you extreme ownership aficionados. But I got to check my ego and say like, this isn't the Josh show off show, right? So like, you know, we're not going to sail one 300 yards out there and we're 10 minutes in the legal shooting when it's hot and heavy and there's a bunch of action. I'm just going to step out of the blind and be like, all right, guns down. I'm going to go run this blind, you know, but from a dog guy, like that does happen, right?
For
So
sure.
like, so, you know, we got to let that one go. And there's a lot of things that can come with that. Now we do go pick that bird up, of course, but what I'm saying is like, there's a lot that goes into the live hunt side of it. So, so going back to the pheasant ranch, a couple other dogs that I will not let go out and hunt in front of me. The two that I have are Tucker and Boris because I still want them to finish, you know, some things, finish their titles in particular. We just did not run many tests at all here last year, and I need to get that done with those two. And so, again, I just don't want any bad habits, and those two both have mega motors. And two very different personalities, right? Like I would say Tucker has a bigger motor than Boris, but Tucker's also on his toenails, where you know Boris seems very chill and very relaxed, you know, to match, you know, I guess not match, but like to complement, you know, his motor. Like Tucker's one that I would be nervous about. That if I go up and hunt him a bunch, do I come back and have him start breaking? Right? I would be concerned about that. Now, of course, I can train and try to reel that back in, but that's the reason. Like, I have the luxury of having a lot of dogs, and I know a lot of people listening don't. And so I'm not saying like, oh, you need to have a duck dog and a goose dog and a pheasant dog and a grouse dog and a quill. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for me, there's reasoning of why I go about this. You know, like Sunny.
Yeah.
Okay, who is one of our females. I think she's fantastic. I think she would really be fantastic if my brother did not own her. Was that mean to say? Yeah, it was kind of mean to say. The reason I say that, I love my brother dearly and his wife and his kids, and they're fantastic people, and they adore Sunny, adore that dog. She lives a fantastic life. But the reality is that they just don't get to hunt very often. They don't get to train hardly at all. They have, what do they have, 4 kids
They
now?
have 4 kids.
And 3 of them under 5.
Yeah.
Got a lot going on in that house. And so they were actually over for Christmas, and Sunny's laying there on the floor, and their youngest was literally using her as a jungle gym and pulling her ears, and she's just laying there taking it. And I looked at my brother and I said, you realize with how talented she is as a retriever, that is the most impressive thing that she can do.
Yes,
right? Just
it
lay there and like be that for those kids, and it's pretty special. But I'm excited to have Sunny with me because she is so talented. So this is the first year that I'm going to let her quarter and hunt in front of us. Everything up to this point has been being steady and waterfall hunting, and she's been great at that. But she's going to be one of the dogs I'm going to allow to take in the field, because I do believe, especially for those guys, there's just more opportunity that they have to go down to the game farm, for an afternoon and get to go hunt, versus, the waterfall stuff. And it's not saying that once she goes and is an upland dog, she's not going to be a great waterfall hunter. She is going to be. Yeah. But, what is she, 3 now?
Yeah.
So she's had 2 full seasons of sitting, being steady. I feel very confident in going, making her a flushing dog, if you will, in this case. So
it'll be fun to have her down there. I love when you get to showcase some of our females, especially the ones in the breeding program. It's really neat to see.
Yeah, for sure. I really want to get Ranger, who is our setter, out. He's 12 now.
About that.
Yeah.
Yep.
He talk about that dog. I could do a whole episode just on Ranger because of the field trials he won, the accolades he has, how special he was, and I say was because he's not what he was at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That
Yeah.
he is at 12. But he is getting an attitude at an old age though. Like when I say attitude, he's like I'll call him when he's outside. He'll like stand there like, does he see me? Does he see me? I'm not going to come in. Where usually he used to like rip right in. But in his defense, it has been crazy cold and he hasn't got a whole lot. He hasn't got to do much.
I took him on a long walk for the first time yesterday, and I don't know if I've ever seen that dog more excited. He loved it.
Yeah, he is funny. So quick Ranger story.
Okay.
Probably one of my favorite, more recent Ranger stories. I promise you, maybe I'll do a Ranger episode sometime because it's so different, right? Like pointing dog, horseback field trial dog, tons of success. Like I think it'd be a really cool episode. But this is my favorite story because Whitney's sitting here in this. Okay, so this was probably 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. So at the time, we were boarding our horses at a boarding facility that was close to where I roped, and so it was just easy to get to. You know the story I'm going to tell?
I'm sitting here racking my brain, and I have no idea what you're
This is awesome. So at the time, I had one horse. His name is Willie. And Willie was being boarded over at this place, and it was nice because like you could go back and ride, and there was areas you could go trail ride if you wanted to. Now she knows the story. So yeah, I would always go rope, and then like Whitney would sometimes want to go take Willie and go on a trail ride, which I think to this day Willie's one of the best trail riding horses.
Oh my gosh, he's amazing.
We've ever
we
owned.
still own him.
Yeah, he's
now my trail riding horse basically.
Yeah, he's great. But at the time, he was we roped all the time. We rodeoed as much as we could. I was just getting into it. He taught me a lot. I still remember. I'm getting a little off in the weeds here, but I still remember one of the first times that I was on the Cowboy Channel. And it was a big road. You were actually in Washington on a trip.
Oh, yes.
You were watching me on TV. And I was
Washington,
all, was it Oregon?
Yeah.
Okay, I was one state
Vineyards.
off. I remember watching, like, I was such a mess. Like, my breast collar wasn't hooked up right. It was a mess. But that horse allowed me to learn because he was so good. Anyway, so Whitney had the great idea, like, because Ranger used to be a field trial.
So we're back at the horse farm.
Yes, we're back at the horse farm. I'm sorry, we're not running. Back at the horse farm. But so we're gonna go just ride Willie and kind of have fun. Well, Whitney had the idea of like, hey, like, Ranger used to love running with the horses. He hasn't got to do that, and at this point, probably 3 years, right? Let's bring Ranger. I'll go ride, and it was a great idea at the time. And so we go in this big back field, and we're letting Ranger run, and Whitney comes up on Willie, and so Willie's running, and I'm watching. I have one of our kids for sure on my shoulders and one in my arms. And I watched this whole thing at a distance unfold. And so Ranger, when I would whistle at Ranger, I had a specific whistle cadence for Ranger, which was come around and I would say, all right, and all right was just shoot him forward and get up forward, in front of us. And so Ranger sees Whitney on the horse, and you can just tell his mind goes into, oh my gosh, we're back, we're trialing, right? So like he saw her and he ran up behind her and was like, all right, let's go. So he runs right by Whitney and Willie, like on this left side, right by Whitney and Willie, and just is like running as hard as he can because he thinks this is awesome, right? Willie sees this white thing go by, and I watch him perk up, and he thinks it's a calf. And so all of a sudden, Willie rips into rodeo speed, and he is as hard as he can running after Ranger. Ranger looks over his shoulder and is like, why is this horse chasing me? And like, he's going faster, Willie's going faster, and Whitney is holding on to that saddle horn, going as fast as that horse can possibly run, hanging on, going across this wide open field.
What the F
it was so great. And then
it was so great.
It was for me. I was laughing so hard. And so finally Whitney comes back. He's literally out of breath when she gets back to me, and she's like, what in the world was that? I was like, well, now you know how fast we go when we're roping because you were going that fast.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
It was awesome.
What was happening.
I mean, just to see a ranger perk up and be like, oh my gosh, we're working. And then for him to go by and I literally watched Willie's head move and like immediately go into work mode and like, I got to chase this cat. It was so great. It was awesome.
What a memory.
Yeah, what a memory, indeed. But so Rangers going to go. There are certain people that I think love the pointing dog side of it. And quite frankly, I'm one of them. Like I love watching a dog do what they were bred to go do. I love that. And so I'll be the first to say, I think upland hunting is a pointing dog game. Now, I know I have a lot of retriever people that are going to hate that and not like that comment, but it is what they were bred to do, right? Like, we take these retrievers, and they are versatile enough to be able to do it for us, but it's really not what they were made to do. Like, they were made to retrieve. Pointing dogs, they're built to go do what we're asking them to do in that upland field.
When you actually see a pointing dog go, and they're running full speed, and they catch scent, and they instantly stop and turn and stand there like a statue, like that's when you realize how incredible that is.
If you've never seen it happen and you appreciate dogs, you will never forget the first time you see it.
100%.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah, it is. Just like if you've never seen a Labrador run a blind and handle and stop on a whistle and take a cast, again, you'll never forget that, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what they were made to do, and they do it at a very high level. And so, so what we do though is we'll have Ranger, and he'll point, and we have Bo, which is his son. Isn't that his son? Yeah. He'll be with us too, and so they'll point. And then we have little Alvin, a little field cocker, and he'll go in and flush. And he does a really good job honoring and not blowing in past the pointing dogs until I tell him to. So Alvin will just heel with me. And the reason is from a safety side. When you're guiding, everything has to be about safety. And so, they go on point and get everybody in position. Okay, is everybody understanding? Here's our shooting lanes. Everybody good? Okay, sounds good. And then I'll send Alvin in, and Alvin can go up in front of them, flush the bird, go make the retrieve after the shot. So it's a cool atmosphere. But a lot of different things going on. But I think for me, I really do try to be very intentional about who I'm using, why I'm using them in those certain situations. Because here's what I will say. Just like I said, that the reality is that like retrievers aren't really made for upland hunting that way per se. They are the machine. If you go in like, we have Milo fields, cattails, something thick like that. That's just a very difficult pointer game, right? Unless they have an edge where you have a scent area. But if you go into a significantly sized Milo field, that is a very difficult thing for a pointing dog.
Yeah.
Right. From a strategic standpoint, from an operational standpoint, I just think that's very difficult. Versus, you get a couple laps and they're quartering back and forth.
Yeah.
Now you're being efficient.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus, pointing dogs naturally, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're out there to point. They're not big retrievers. So when you have that
some of them
thick
for
stuff,
sure.
they could just go back on point if you have a down bird on there.
To dead point, right?
Yeah, to dead point, where your retrievers are going to go pick it up and bring it back a little bit more.
Right.
Likely than a pointing dog, right?
And a little dog to dog, right? So generally speaking, your true pointing breeds, your setters, your pointers, your Brittany's, they're not going to be strong retrievers. Now, that's not to say they can't be, right? Like we had one that was a very, very strong retriever. Ranger started retrieving only after. Ranger never retrieved. Okay, never retrieved. Now, he was a fantastic pointing dog, but he never retrieved until Easton, who I mentioned earlier, got to be where he was 13 years old, and he was just like he was getting really arthritic. He was really tough, and so what I would do is I would go out, especially to the game farms, and Ranger would go point. Easton would just walk at heel the whole time. Bird would get up and we would shoot, and Ranger would go on. I'd relocate Ranger. Ranger would go on, find the next bird, and Easton could take however long he wanted to retrieve that bird. It was fantastic. Until Ranger one day got upset that his stepbrother at home was getting retrieves, and he just started picking them up and bringing them back on his own, which I guess jealousy kind of created that one. But yeah, I think that's a good point from a recovery side, for sure. Okay, so I know you said we had to cap this at an hour. We're at like 50 minutes right now. So I have one thing that I do want to cover before we have to go.
Okay, go for it.
And that is Texas.
Yes.
Whitney and I are very, very excited to let you all know that. Didn't we talk about this last time? Didn't we?
As soon as you started saying it, yes.
Why is this still on our list to talk about? Well,
Because
for those
we're
of you that
so
didn't,
excited.
yeah, because if you
We're
didn't
so
hear
excited.
from the last episode, we are going to go down to Texas for about a month. We're going to have weekly
Yes.
trainings down there. We're really excited about that. I knew that we had talked about this. The hard part about this is, for me, okay, so we have the podcast. Then I have my retriever roadmap live.
I know.
We'll do that with the members there. Then we have one-on-ones. Then we have phone calls at the kennel. We have all these things like they do kind of run together at times as far as like,
Oh,
did I say this here or there?
100%.
Well, the good news is that you'll get to be done in your hour that you had as your
Thank you.
time
Thank you.
time period. So again, if you are listening to this now, we are down at the pheasant range. We're going to try. I'm going to say try because I don't know how well it's going to work. We're going to try to do an episode, at least one, while we're there.
Yeah.
We have some really great people that are coming in to help guide, professional trainers, professional handlers, like really great people too. Like I love that side of it. They're great people. And so we have them coming. I'd love to be able to get them and like talk about like some of the hunts that we're having, like what happened and why from a dog standpoint. But it is not always easy. So our normal routine is, we're usually starting at least by 5 in the morning. And by the time we get back at the end of the day and clean birds and have dinner and shower, now we're, 9 o'clock.
And no one wants to talk anymore.
Oftentimes we don't want to talk. Like sometimes we sit in the guide house and we all like sit and watch TV and we just sit there. I mean, it's just like you're so tired and exhausted in a good way. Like there's a lot worse things we could be doing. We love it, but we are gonna try. Yeah, I think that'd be a really
It'd be
neat
so
thing.
awesome.
And we also are gonna try to bring our equipment down to Texas.
Yeah.
And do some stuff down
We're
there.
really trying to dedicate our time to you guys this year.
Yes, that's right.
We're trying.
That's right. Yeah. Discipline.
Yes.
Just like at the beginning, we're gonna say discipline.
We're going to say discipline.
Be consistent.
Yes.
So I hope you guys have a fantastic week, a fantastic rest of your day, and we hope to be coming at you from the Pheasant Ranch at our next episode. TBD, I don't know if we are or not, but we're going to do our best. So hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.